So Rokas, exciting. You're the skipper of a Lithuanian team, YPO owned, yeah, with a link in YPO, so very exciting. On one hand, and the challenge is up, and it's a year and a half you have to go. Now, the question is really to you, from a motivational point of view. There's the race, and then there's ocean health.
Yep.
Maybe you can tell you a little bit about your motivations and what you've lived and what you are aiming for.
Well, for sure, as any athlete, you want to win. Starting early is a huge benefit, but that's one part of the story because this race is great on so many levels. It's one of the best sporting events in the world, being one of the most extreme and remote, traveling for the places not many people have been in, because you're sailing around the world. But it also makes you realize the impact people make to the world as well. Like the whole sustainability picture in the whole ocean race is really, really strong due to some facts that we actually see the oceans, because the oceans is our playground. That's where we grow, that's where we learn, that's where we play, and that's where we race. And for me personally, one of the scariest moments was that when you're in the ocean, you very early understand how big is the ocean and how tiny you actually are. Like these huge waves and this boat, which actually looks huge and enormous, but when you're in the ocean between these waves, you just feel tiny and small. And there are areas, when there's closer people in the space than people in the land, but also when you're sailing in some areas like a Malek Strait or the pollution of the plastic is very, very disturbing. Because one thing is, everywhere you look around, you see some sort of like a plastic bag, a slippery or some trash. Almost like every square meter, you can see a trash. One thing, all these trash slows our boat, so it's actually impacts our performance. We have to send divers, one of our crew, just to clear the underwater parts of the boat, because we're racing 24/7, and any lack of percentage of our performance, that's already lost. But the scariest picture is when you realize the whole perspective of the ocean. It's everything you see is plastic, and then you took the look from, let's say, the bird's eye, and you realize that all you see is just a tiny bit of the ocean, and the scale of that plastic area is much bigger than you can even imagine. And the problem is not the plastic itself, it's the single-use plastic, and because the plastic ends up in the ocean. And that's actually what the ocean is trying to say and to fight, and to make the plastic reusable and to get it out of the ocean, to teach these countries and to make a real impact for economy to look at this problem seriously, because for the sailors it's really important.
I mean, this is heavy information you have here.
Yeah.
So therefore, I think we're all aligned in making, doing something about it. Circular economy.
Yeah, sure.
In order to avoid ending up, and that's a part of the journey also we want to have together. Well, it is what it is. So we can also, every problem also see a business opportunity.
Okay.
So maybe that's where we look at it on a solution point of view. So as you are representing Lithuania now on a boat, on a YPO boat,
Yeah.
What is your most excited about next race, and what are you most scared about?
Well, there's a lot of levels of excitement and everything, and since just to know more about the ocean race, because it's also going through some changes. The change of the name, now it's the ocean race, like the best race, right? But also there's a certain rules to the teams, which actually is one of the biggest challenge to get a winning team, to get a high performance team, and to keep it that way. That's a really tough challenge. Considering their rules and forming the team. And for the next edition, the rules are like this: that out of 10 sailors, 6 has to be under 30. Out of these 6, 3 have to be under 26. 3 have to be with ocean race or similar experience approved by the race organizers, and there have to be 3 female sailors on board. So however you look at this whole team is really based around the younger generation of sailors, and this is quite challenging because in this kind of sport, experience plays a lot. There's actually this kind of imaginary scale, experience versus energy, and you kind of always have to combine in which you want to invest more. But that's also the challenge. I believe that young people can outperform the experience with getting more energy. But again, for this, you need to train a lot. You need to analyze the data. You need to learn and to prepare these people, because to remember that this is also one of the most extreme and dangerous events in the world. And this event is not just like few weeks or something. The event takes 9 months, and it's not always the team who wins or who's the best at the end. It's actually the team who is the best in the end of the race. So that means you need to be very consistent. You need to get your people not injured. You need to keep them stable, physically fit and psychologically stable, because it's a long event and many things can happen. So I think it's the main challenge is going to be the crew, besides these rules, but also because these boats, there's only 8 of these boats in the world, and they are identical. And it all means that there's no even like a hole for the screw or anything. They are exactly the same. It's the paint job, there's the logos on the sail, which are the main difference. So that means that this is kind of Olympic principle, what we call one design. That means it's all down to the crew, and the best crew are gonna win this race.
Wow.
There's no way around it.
Exciting. So we will be cheering you up, supporting you on YPO is here.
Yeah.
All the best, Rokas, and
Thank you.
hope you win. Thanks for joining.
Thank you, guys.